Welcome to another episode of Caps and Cards 716. I'm your host, by EJ18, and I am joined today by
TJ North Shore Fitted here. We were going to talk about Jerry Remy today and important causes to both of us. The baseball world lost more than just a commentator or a former player. Jerry Remy was the voice of the Boston Red Sox, for anyone who doesn't know. And he influenced many different broadcasters and he was teammates with a bunch of different guys. Very sad day. I have baseball
onside,
signed by him.
upside down.
Whoops. Yeah, there we go.
That's how you know we're filming this live.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
And for those who didn't know, he's had cancer 3 or 4 different times. He's come back, and he finally lost the battle. He came out and threw the first pitch of the World Series game, the wild card game against the Yankees. You could tell he wasn't doing too well. He came out in oxygen. They had to drive him on the bullpen cot. Sad. I just want to remember the cancer sucks. Strikeout cancer. This is the San Jose pickup we had earlier.
Yeah, I would have definitely gotten that if my size was available or if I was tipped off a little bit better about it. Definitely something that hits home for me as well.
I wanted to talk about some of Jerry Remy's most memorable calls, and it would have been 2004 when we finally won it for the first time. I don't really remember that championship all that well, but I remember my parents freaking out. Yeah. Everything like that. The one I remember really well was 2013.
I was watching in 2004. I remember.
2013 was the one I really remember was him because we went from last in the American League to first, and they got the final out. And I remember on the radio calling, Jerry Remy calling, and the Boston Red Sox have done it. The first time in 90-something years at Fenway Park, they clinched it. Then he goes, they went from worst to first.
I got to comment on this because as an outsider, kind of not really, I didn't have a horse in this race, and I just remember watching it, and I always put on the radio of like one of the teams, and I had on the Boston feed, and I gotta say I was ecstatic. Like I was excited to be able to watch the Red Sox win, and I wasn't even a fan of them. I just liked the atmosphere, which is like yesterday when I was racing home to watch the Braves win. Like, and then you see them and they're winning, that energy, and you get there and you're like, yeah, and you're like I don't even care, but I care. And the second point I wanted to make is I just finally got a euchre card, which I did show in the last episode, and I also got you an autograph card from the current commentator from the Red Sox, X. So just when we linked there, we just had this connection that I always go out of my way to find like a Red Sox or something that goes with the teams that you go or root for or something like that. And I value that friendship and that camaraderie in a way that it's second nature to me, and expect it.
I just wanted to say it's weird to see your childhood just slip away like that. I remember listening to the radio of my grandparents. My grandfather's no longer here. Wasn't in a Red Sox game, and they got stuff like that. And now the voice of the Red Sox isn't even there. It's different now. It's just weird to think about. Same thing with the Celtics too. Tommy Heinsohn passed away a couple years prior, and he was a crazy guy. He'd been the player, a coach, an assistant coach, a GM for the Celtics at some one point in his career. Then he moved out into the booth when they didn't want to anymore for anything.
Well, now RJ of the Sabres, Rick Jeanneret, he only does a couple of the games for the Sabres, mostly home games. Maybe 10 he'll do this year. But not having him in there, it's not the same. It's like, I'm just going to use this as comparison. It's like having Joe Buck call your games every single game, because you're so used to hearing one voice that you constantly love and you've been hearing it for over 50 years. And then you get this new voice in there and you're just like, who the fuck are you? And what claim do you have to be doing this? Even if they're good, like they could be good, and yeah, I'll warm up to them, but he's no RJ.
I would say like for the Red Sox, it's gonna be really interesting to see who eventually replaces Jerry Remy. They did have a couple guys fill in. The announcers for the Red Sox again. I like when they have Dennis Eckersley in the booth. For that same reason, he doesn't call a lot of games anymore either because he's starting to get up there in age, and he wants a lot of money. That's the other reason why the Red Sox don't want to pay for an announcer that wants that much money.
Well, I thought of you when I was at a shop and I saw that autograph because I still have my 89 World Series A's ball with a very prime looking Eckersley auto on it. And I was like, well, I've already got it. So I know who would appreciate an Eck autograph.
Yeah, no, it's just a very different time. I remember even in this World Series, they did the stand up for cancer, and one of the announcers at one of those booths. I wish I took a screen cap of that. It was the day before he passed away, so they must have had some prior knowledge or something. They did the stand up for cancer. I stand up for Jerry Remy, and the camera zoomed in on all the
Well,
guys in the radio booth with the headphones on.
I remember I went to a Pirates game and we got to have the signs and I stood up for Cookie and then my dad stood up for my aunt and then my buddy well, I gave my buddy the Cookie sign and then I stood up for like my grandfather and then my aunt and I had my dad stand up for my aunt and and it was just all and we all were personally touched by it. So it's just like a different feeling when you have to deal with it.
Yeah, cancer is something that I think touches everybody's lives now. Unfortunately, at some point, either a teacher, a classmate, or a family member, a relative, family friend
Yeah.
from it.
Yeah, it's just a tough topic, just something nobody really wants to discuss. So, I mean,
I wanted to say that the Red Sox fans are class act. They renamed Yawkey Way to Jersey Street because Tom Yawkey was a racist. The Red Sox weren't allowed to have black. They were one of the last teams to integrate because Tom Yawkey didn't like African American players and stuff like that. So they renamed it Jersey Street. There's a petition to the city of Boston right now to rename it Jerry Remy Way. I really hope they do.
yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, just it's just terrible. Cancer sucks. Fucking, I've dealt with it. I'm sure at some point you have too, and
Yeah.
it's just not something that we really, we got to talk about it. And I mean, I'm just going to talk about it real fast. I'm not going to get really in depth about it today. But Grandstand put this hat out. It says the story is not over. Semicolon. It means like that people that, might commit suicide or like have attempted to end their life for some reason, shape, form, whatever. And it hurt me that they put this hat out with like no meaning and they put out this really heartfelt video and they just didn't understand the topic. And for that reason, I like the hat, but it just very much hurts me in a different way. So yeah, we're just this is a video for the causes. We're talking, yeah, we have some hats to show off, talking about the causes, and it's just a hard time. So we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yeah.
As we always do. Peace,
Peace.
love, and caps.